Art is not a real job. Being an artist means being underpaid and overworked. Making a living with art is so difficult. Get a real job and do art as a side gig. If you've ever considered monetizing your art, you've probably stumbled upon these objections already. When I shared my video about making art as an artist, someone messaged me to say, okay, I always thought that there are no real job opportunities for artists, and you showed there are plenty. But everyone tells me that no matter what, becoming an artist is so hard. This person isn't the first one to believe this and won't be the last either. I definitely face those objections too and want to address some of the most common artist doubts because it's so important that you change your limiting beliefs and conceptions around the art industry if you ever want to make it. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to grow from art to business every Tuesday at 6 p.m. in English and French. And for those who want to dive much deeper into the topic of artist emotions, you can find our latest course on myartbaseacademia.com addressing fears, comparison, jealousy and confidence, which are just part of our artist journey, although people usually don't want to talk about it. More at the end of this video, and let's get started. Art is not a real job, or you can't make a living off your passion. The thing is, most of us have been drawing since our childhood and it's something we love. Unlike more classical jobs like doctors or lawyers, you don't even necessarily need any studies to become an artist, and there's no special qualifications to enter that profession. This all kind of leads to that conception that art isn't a serious job like every child draws, so why should you get paid for this? Why should you get paid for chilling at home doing what you love while others are working hard with lots of responsibilities and much higher stakes on the line? I think that lots of people don't consider art a real job because it's just too different from the standards like you go to school, you apply for a job, you work for a company. Now of course there are the people who are just stubborn and just won't accept art as a job. But there are others who will tell you that art is the real job because they just can't imagine how it works. It's especially true with your close acquaintances who sometimes seem to drag you down while they're in fact worried about you. My parents were kinda devastated when they realized I wouldn't get a real job in a company as they were all about security and financial stability. But once I had several clients and was making great money, they were much more at ease with me working as an artist. I know it can be frustrating and demoralizing to constantly hear people tell you to get a real job, especially in the beginning when your confidence is still super shaky and you have your own doubts to deal with. But really, if you feel it's what you want to do, then do it. Just give yourself the chance to at least try, otherwise you'll regret it. People around you will either tell you art isn't a real job and you can't live off your passion because 1, they just don't want you to succeed, 2, they don't know the industry, or 3, they are worried about you and want you to live a good life, but as they know it. But look around you, there are so many illustrators out there in the world. Isn't that proof enough that art is indeed a real job? Imagine for a second that art really wasn't a job and that the act of putting a pencil to paper would not exist. There would be no comics, no illustrated books, no children books. Speaking of children, they would also have no board game, educational stuff or anything visually entertaining. As illustrators don't exist to design characters and concepts, video games and animated movies or series and animes would not exist either. We would only wear plain clothing without any patterns. But wait, would we actually wear any clothes at all as fashion collections are always sketched before? In supermarkets, there would be only packaging with plain colors and text, and lots of ad posters, flyers, magazines we see every day and take for granted would be non-existent as well. And while we're at buying things, we would most likely not have regularly new gadgets and machines because there's just no one to draw the technical plans beforehand. And on the more historical side, we would lose so many valuable paintings and resources as there were no photos back then. Like, just imagine empty museums or the Versailles Castle without any painting. That would be such a boring world, right? I challenge you to just go to your kitchen or living room and see how many illustrated things you have in there. Even if it's just the drawing of a flower on your champagne glass, or some bubbles on your soap packaging, or even motifs on your tapestry. There was an illustrator behind it who did this. You'll be surprised by how many illustrated things you can actually find. So really, believe the people who are actually in the art industry. Art is a real job that shapes our world much more than we think, and it is definitely possible to make a decent living with it. Another objection that often comes back is making a living with art is hard. We've already proven that there are plenty of work opportunities when you can draw, and art is indeed a real job. But now it's so difficult. And yes, it's true. Getting started as an artist will definitely not be a piece of cake. You'll need to work hard, to push way out of your comfort zone, to learn new skills along the way. But isn't that the same as with any other job, especially for entrepreneurs? The biggest mistake you can make when taking the decision to get serious with art is not considering yourself as a business. You're indeed an artist, but as a self-employed freelancer, you need to think like an entrepreneur to a certain extent. Like every other business, whether you're an artist, a fitness coach, a restaurant, you are a perfect nobody in the beginning. You need to get out there, show people what you can do, attract new prospects, nurture your clients, advertise, take care of taxes, administrations, learn to negotiate contracts, and more. During my first freelance year, I'd say that often drawing only accounted to 30% of my whole time. The rest was all about figuring out how to run my business and setting up projects to make it profitable. When we start out, we think we'll spend the whole day drawing and enjoying life, but you can't expect to magically get clients and money right from the beginning. It's going to take dedication and effort, but if you hang in there, you will definitely reap the rewards. Once you've established your presence and have regular customers, you will be able to shift your focus from more business stuff to drawing and enjoying life as you wanted to again. But I really urge you, if you want to make it as an artist, you need to think of yourself as a business. If you want to keep on drawing and doing what you love for the rest of your life, you need to earn at least enough income to pay your bills and make a normal living like everyone else. Yes, it will be hard in the beginning, but that is also the case for any other business you'll start. All the good things take time, and if you truly love what you do, you'll be able to stay committed and face any hardships to make your dreams come true. Should you go all in with art or rather keep it as a side gig? When is the right moment to leave your real job and start freelancing? There's obviously no right answer to that, and I believe it ultimately comes down to your own art goals and your character. For a little backstory, I started monetizing my art when I was 14 by self-publishing and selling my books at high school, and later on with workshops, commissions and conventions. All those years of constant work allowed me to full-time freelance as soon as I graduated at age 23. And really, both sides were interesting. When art is a side gig alongside school or your day job, it's much more comfortable in the sense that you can allow yourself to just try out anything you want, like experiment with your art style, improve your skills, and get to know the industry, what works, what doesn't, and make your own experiences. You can also use that time to see if art is truly a career that suits you, if you have the necessary motivation and self-discipline to make it work, and if there are indeed people who are willing to pay for what you do. On the downside, this may come along with a lack of time and opportunities, but it is definitely possible when you know your priorities and have some good time management. Now, concerning full-time freelancing, the biggest benefit is your freedom. You can organize your schedule however you want, and you have much more time to accept certain projects or meetings. From a health point of view, it allows you to have more time for yourself, to relax or spend with your loved ones, as you can just free up your evenings and weekends, which are often used to work when you try to make a business work as a side gig. I remember some opportunities in my last school year which I needed to turn down, and it was so frustrating, and gaining freedom over my schedule after graduating just opened so many new and exciting possibilities. On the downside of full-time freelancing though, in the beginning, you'll have all the stress and uncertainty of how you're going to actually make it. Even if you're prepared for it, when the first bills to run your art biz come in, it hurts. And with too much anxiety, you might take decisions out of fear, which might do you more bad than good until you get more confident about your whole career. If you have no experience yet and want to start out, honestly, I'd recommend you to stay at school or keep your current job and start out with art as a side gig. While you have no business and financial obligations yet, allow yourself to try out whatever you can, no matter how silly or far-fetched the ideas seem. Develop your social media, go to conventions, get an exhibition, start your online store, find your first private commission clients, whatever you want to do, just have fun and enjoy. While you still have a security net like living with your parents or your fixed salary, it's the perfect time to experiment like crazy and go all in for what's important to you. Getting all that experience will help you gain a more realistic grasp of the industry and prepare you for what's to come. And most importantly, you'll see how people react to your art and have an already small but established audience and client base. If you see it works, then take the leap and go full time. Now, if you want to keep doing art as a side gig, it's perfectly fine too. The risks and responsibilities of entrepreneurship are definitely not everyone's cup of tea, and it's alright. Some Belgian friends told me about a concept they have, the indépendant complémentaire, which allows you to work half-time as an employee and half-time on your own business. If you like the comfort of a more stable job to fully enjoy creating in your free time, by all means do it. And if you like the excitement of being your own boss and never knowing what the future holds, because anything is possible, then welcome to the Creative Entrepreneur Club. When we decide to get more serious about art, we'll definitely face doubts and objections, whether they come from ourselves or from people on the outside. But if you're clear on your goals and your why, and check out this video for more, it will be so much easier to face the hardships and keep going for your dreams. So, what about you? Do you or did you face any of these artist objections mentioned today? Or others? How did you deal with them? Please comment below so that we can all inspire and get inspired by each other. If you want to dive in further, you can join the Academia's Members Club, where we'll have a deep talk about artist emotions this month. It's a topic I really wanted to address, as my own insecurities have been holding me back for years. So we'll openly discuss jealousy, competing and comparing yourself to other artists, lack of confidence. They're not very glamorous topics and we're often ashamed of admitting them, so I really want you to know that it's okay to feel them. I hope this course will allow you to be more at ease with your own emotions, help you lift some limiting beliefs around your ability to make beautiful things happen, and gain more confidence to achieve your goals. Members can also request a private coaching call where we will work together through blocks and get you ready to tackle your own art career with confidence. You can join the Members Club anytime at myartbaseacademia.com and get immediate access to our full course library. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if this video helped, and come over to Instagram at myartbaseacademia for more content. We'll see each other next week in a new video to grow from art to business, always on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. See you next time.